Hey, Mr. C here once again with another Photoshop frame animation. So let's get started. Remember, all we need to do is open up Photoshop and start File and choose New. We're going to create a reveal. So let's name it Reveal. Again, we're going to keep the size and width to 200 pixels by 200 pixels. And we want that transparent background, not white. So let's choose OK. There we have our transparent background. We're going to use the text tool once again. So click on text. We want to choose a font that is Segoe script. It's kind of a different type of font. But again, remember fonts are in alphabetical order, so you'll have to scroll down a little ways to get it. Make sure cap locks are turned off. Remember, if you were using that technique here for the characters and paragraphs option, that all caps should be untoggled because we want to use some lower click case here. So we'll hide that. We want to start off and choose a dark red. So that'll be our foreground color. And we also just need to click and type Orion. So O-R-I-N. We accept that, and let's move and center that. Oh, I spelled that wrong. I need the O in there. So, O-N. There we go. Alright, so now we click OK. We're to accept. Now we're going to create a new layer. And we want to use the paintbrush tool. And all we're going to do is draw a line, a little arc underneath it. So now we have this line, and what we're going to do is we're going to make another layer and take the marquee tool that is rectangular, and we're going to draw a rectangle over the arc that you just placed. Alright, again, we got another layer, and we're going to fill that layer, or fill that marquee in with the paint bucket tool. Now, if you don't see the paint bucket tool, there might be displaying the gradient tool. So it's about halfway down, hold it down, and then choose paint bucket. Okay, and we want to choose the white color for the foreground, and we're going to hide it. So now this is a color you might want to change. Keep in mind what your background color is for the your website. That way, if you match the color, it's not going to be visible. You're not going to have a white rectangle there sliding off, because what we're going to do is just pull that off and use the tween option to reveal the underline underneath it. Okay, so one thing we have to do, notice we have the marching ants on there, so we want to deselect, so that's Control D. That removes the marching ants. And now we're ready to create that frame animation. So if your timeline's not open, just go to the Windows menu, choose Timeline, and then make sure you choose Create Frame Animation. So there we have our frame animation. All of our layers are turned on. We're going to duplicate that layer by clicking the New Frame. We're going to take and use the Move tool and move that white square off. And I'm going to hold down the Shift key as I drag that, so it's straight. Okay, and I'm going to drag it off. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to reverse these two frames. So I'm just going to drag frame number 2 in front of frame number 1. So now we have the blank frame, or the blank square, the white rectangle disappeared on frame number 1, and it appears on frame number 2. So now all we're going to do now is select frame 2, and we're going to use the tween. So I hit the tween button down there, and then I'm going to tween with the previous all frames in position and choose OK. Alright, now you can see that the white square moves slowly across until the line is hidden. So if we play that, there we go. Now imagine that my background's white on my website, and I play that and it reveals or hides the underline. Okay, and we can reverse that as well. I believe we can go up here and reverse frames and then play it. There we go, it reveals the line underneath it. Okay. So again, you have that option in the timeline drop-down menu there, and we can reverse the frames, and it does that. And we can, again, if you want to duplicate that layer and then choose that second layer, again, we can just take that white rectangle and we just selected it. There we go. And I just drag that right back off. And then I'm going to tween that. Whoops. I want to create a new one. Sorry about that. But we want to tween it through this. And now, if we play it, and maybe we put a pause here, maybe like a half a second. Alright, so that's how we reveal. You can change the timings to best suit your needs, change it to forever if you wish. And there you go. Might want to add a pause. Second there maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Alright, that looks pretty good. So again, make sure you save. You're going to save this as reveal. Click OK. And then you're going to save for web. Now, it's been brought to my attention that the directions or the tutorials that you've been reading tells you to save it as GIF32 dithered. That's fine. You can do it that way, or you can save it with the 128 dithered. It just has to do with the number of colors that you're going to use, and since we want to use a higher color value, that's why I chose 128. But it does make the graphic a little larger when you use that. More colors, bigger size, and it's not that much bigger. So if you look right there, it's 13.7. And if I change it to 128, it makes it 15. So a couple kilobytes, that's not going to make that big of a difference. So it's totally up to you, but I'm going to save it with a 128 dithered. So I click save, and again, make sure you're in that Photoshop and click save to reveal it. So if you have any questions, be sure to ask me during class. Remember, you can always come back in before school, after school, during study hall, or during your advisory. So